You can't miss the fire damage to this high-rise condominium building in the Finch and Pharmacy area. It started on that 18th floor balcony, which is now boarded up, and you can see how serious it was. Windows were blown out, the vinyl siding completely melted, and the units both above and below it were also damaged. The cause, possibly a barbecue that ignited. When Toronto police arrived on scene, they described the balcony as fully involved, and it went to a second alarm. We spoke to the residents who live directly below where the fire started, who are relieved that no one was hurt, but they sure got quite a fright last night.
All of a sudden, boom. I tried to take it out with the fire extinguisher. It just was out of control there. If I kept this open, this thing would have spread it over here, all the fire there.
So there were flames kind of coming down to your balcony?
Yeah, it was blowing it this way.
Tony Guidoni and his family were watching TV about 9 o'clock last night when they heard a loud explosion. It's not confirmed that it was a propane barbecue that sparked the fire, but Tony suspects it was.
I know what a propane tank sounds like when it explodes. Boom, like an atomic bomb.
In addition to damage caused by the fire, including this window shattering, and Tony tells me the explosion blew his screen door off its track. There's also extensive water damage to the unit caused by fighting the fire.
Well, now to go through the insurance, this is going to take over a month here. All the paperwork, we do all this repair.
No one was home where the fire started. Tony tells me he did see the owner last night and that he was dazed and in a state of shock and had to go to the hospital. Were you home when it happened last night?
Oh, yes.
This gentleman reacted the way he usually does when the fire alarm goes off. He ignored it, and even still when he heard the explosion. It wasn't until he heard someone shouting outside that he thought he should have a look.
When I looked outside the balcony, I saw fire right down to my unit.
You must have been shocked.
Oh, and scared.
Yes.
Really scared. And then I grabbed my wife, knocked on my neighbor's door, and ask them to get out.
Right.
You know, you have to really get out.
The residents tell me that their condo board has a regulation against using gas or charcoal barbecues, but people often break the rules. Toronto Fire tells me that there are, in fact, no laws against using propane barbecues in high-rises or anywhere else, but there's no doubt they can be dangerous. Last year, a couple died after a fire broke out in their garage. A barbecue was suspected in that incident, too. But Paul Catchpole from the Public Education Division of Toronto Fire says if used properly, a gas barbecue can be perfectly safe.
One of the simple rules about using a barbecue is attend your cooking. Don't walk away from it. Don't light the barbecue and then walk away. And certainly on a balcony, because the limited space and the fact that it's adjacent to a very large structure where there are other occupants, well, that obviously becomes a hazard.
Make sure the barbecue is well away from anything combustible, at least 1 to 3 meters. Check the burner ports and hoses at the beginning of the season to make sure there's no debris or blockage.
What we do is obviously encourage owners to make themselves, to educate themselves on how to use those devices properly.
Now, residents point out that it's a very lucky thing that no one was seriously hurt or even killed in last night's fire, and for good reason. Take a look at this. There are shards of glass strewn all over this area here. In fact, you can see very large pieces embedded in the grass over there. And look, there is a children's playground just a couple of meters away. Now, residents also say that there is zero enforcement of the rules here and no repercussions for people who break them. I tried to get a statement from the property manager today, but he did not return my call.